What's going on, Clippers fans? It's Jonathan Timm here, back with another off-season, preseason interview, if you will, as we're in the March months and counting down the days till we return to Marsh Field. And before we get going today, I'm going to let you guys know I'm joined by a very important man in the Clipper rotation. A former Clipper back from the year 2016, currently assisting at Chattanooga Tech Community College. Last year, he was the GLSCL North Division All-Star Coach and Manager of the Year for the North as well. And going into his third year as head coach of the Clippers, he boasts an impressive 50 wins in his early tenure. And that is, of course, Logan Fleener. Coach Fleener, happy March. How does it feel finally being back in the full swing of college baseball and looking into another season?
Man, it's getting really nice. The weather's heating up. Sun's been out the last couple days. We're sticking around the 70s most afternoons right now. So we're 31 games into it, which seems unbelievable. But man, it's been really good so far this spring.
70-degree weather, man. It was 15 degrees this morning, and I'm sure Michigan's feeling likewise. Of course, I'm in Wisconsin. Across the other side of the lake might be different. But without further ado, let's talk about expectations for this summer, where it'll be hopefully consistently 70 and 80 degrees. And Muskegon is now a place that you've called home for a few summers now. But let's go back to your playing days back in 2016. What originally brought you to Muskegon?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird situation. I was coming off an injury. I had kind of screwed up my wrist right at the end of my junior year. I wasn't really sure I was going to play. I got an offer in the prospect league once I got cleared, and my uncle got word from Walt that they know each other through church and my family, my grandparents, and they were like, "Hey, we're kind of looking for a shortstop." And my uncle was kind of like, "I don't want to be this, my nephew's great, but here's a shortstop and here's some information on him. If you want to make it work, that'd be awesome." And, 2 nights later, I'm sitting in the living room with my dad, and I'm like, I don't really know which choice to choose. They're both great opportunities. And, we talked about it a little bit, and spending that summer in Muskegon with some of my family was a really cool opportunity for me outside of the baseball world. But then, to play at Marsh Field, where it would be the only field that my dad and I played on, um, as our careers crossed, and so getting to do that was a huge factor. And man, was it one of those choices that, thank God it happened, because it was one of the coolest times of my life, and I'm so fortunate that that kind of random situation occurred.
Oftentimes former players will revert to themselves as once a Clipper, always a Clipper, because, that's the nit you get when you come through this organization. Now let's flash forward a little bit. What ultimately brought you back to come and actually coach the team? I mean, your first year was in 2022. Now, how did that come to be, replacing Walt, him going to GM, and then you as the coach?
Yeah, so when I played, everybody, we kind of talked about what was next for me, and I had said, like, I think I want to do this at the collegiate level. And so I had started that, and Walt kind of made a joke that summer, like, "Hey, when I'm done, I'll just hand the reins over." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. You can give it to some punk kid." But I got some experience under my belt the next couple years, and that summer, the last summer that he coached, he kind of started to get the feeling that he was going to be done, and he sent me a note and just kind of asked about my interest. And then, in August and September, we started doing some interviews and some things like that with him and Pete. And luckily, they felt like I was the right guy to take over. So I was fortunate enough that fall to accept the position, and it's been what it's been since then. It's an absolute blast.
That it has, and especially after finishing below the 500 mark in your first year. I mean, we could go on and on about how incredible last year was, but let's describe what it's like for you in your duty as coach now, year in and year out. So this will be the third time that you're in charge of a new team, guys coming from all over the world, all over the country to play in Muskegon. Now, you're knitting together a talented team out of guys who meet each other and then a few days later have a game. So what are the keys to ultimately addressing the guys and building that chemistry early on and form that bond right from the get-go?
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround. There's no doubt about that. And these guys are coming off long seasons and different situations. Junior college, 4-year, NAI, D2, D1, all different scenarios. And so we try to, we get them together. It's Pete does a great job. We have kind of a team event with host families and everything, and get some food and talk about, what the next couple of days are going to look like. And then, that first day of practice, we probably take the first 15 minutes and do some introductions. And then we try to say from a coaching staff point, this is our expectation. This is what we want of you guys. And this is what we want to provide you from our standpoint. And as we do that, we try to give them kind of a roadmap to try to blend this all together really fast. And then, Walt does a great job of doing some background on these guys and finding out what kind of kids they are. And, when you've got good people, good things happen. And a lot of it's that. And Brian Wright has been, a superstar side man and just does a really good job of kind of reinforcing the environment and how we kind of want to quickly build upon. Yes, it's a summer team, but let's create something special while we're here.
Well, something special was indeed created last year. Of course, you alongside with Brian Wright, a great duo from a coaching standpoint, and that may be a spoiler to another preseason interview that we'll have later on down the road. Now, let's talk about this upcoming season. Greatest year in league history. It's pretty hard to meet that expectation 2 years in a row, but now that the standard has been set ultimately so very high, what are your plans to ultimately maybe even meet or surpass that expectation, or at least come close, or maybe win a championship trying?
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough battle to match or pass what we did last summer in the regular season, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be the goal. These guys coming in are going to be competitive. They've heard enough about last summer and how great it was. These guys want to create their own story and their own summer to remember. I love and I will always love what we did last summer. It's one of the coolest things I've got to be a part of, and that group of kids and coaches was so special to me and will be. But we've got to find a way to create a unique situation for the guys that are in uniform this year. And yes, the goal will be to be one game better. Everything we do, we're always trying to talk about how do we get 1% better? How do we get better every day? Whatever that may be. So yeah, the goal will be, let's be better than last year's team. But at the end of the day, the goal is always to make the playoffs and win the last game. And so we came up a little short in that section last year. It doesn't take away from what those guys did in the summer, in the regular season. But I want to hang a championship banner on the corner of Peck Street. I think there are maybe, two people in Pete and Walt Garkowski that build this special thing, and they deserve one of those. And, last year we just came up a little bit short, but it just makes you a little more hungry and, a little more everything to go and find a way to win those 2 games, to get to the championship and win 2 more. So it's going to be really tough, but we're really excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, way to embrace it. Now, that's a message that you can definitely deliver upon your players at the start of the year. Now let's voice over to the fans watching this video. Let's hear from the head coach. Let's hear why the citizens of Muskegon should come out to Marshfield, to the ballpark on a weeknight for a Muskegon Clipper baseball game from the coach's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, first off, it's a beautiful place to watch a game. Sitting in that environment, getting to see those fans and just watch, what I believe is one of the most beautiful sport that we play. But the team specifically, what we will want to do, we want to play a fast, clean, exciting game. We want to play with a ton of energy. We want to play a not dramatically the score, no, but a high level game every single night you're going to see a ton of energy, a ton of speed, and I think this year you might see a ton of pop, and everybody loves home runs. You're going to see a team that up 10, down 10 is going to play incredibly hard. They're going to respect your attention. They're going to respect the money you spent to play to be sitting in that seat. These guys are going to go, and they're going to go incredibly hard and incredibly fast, but it's high level baseball. These guys know what they're doing. We're going to do our best to put them in, positions and a lineup that makes them excel. But it is a show. It is one of the coolest shows on grass in the country. It was last year, and I think this year is going to be another exciting year. And I don't know if you can get the quality that you can for the price tag. It's unbelievable. Such a special place to be every single night. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it may be, you're going to get a show, and it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the noise was made last year, and now people, I'm sure I can see across Lake Michigan now, there's already a line out the gate for the 2 months in advance. Now, last question for you. It'll be more so on the fun side of things. Professional baseball related. I saw you keeping your, what was it called? The grids last year, right?
Yep.
Now, obviously, you know a lot about baseball. Now, I asked the same question to Walt about this Dodger team, and as a Brewer fan, they're not exactly my go-to, but are they a lock for the World Series this year or no? I mean,
I don't think so. I really and Walt hit it pretty nail on the head. I like teams that aren't necessarily bought. I like, I think there's something too in those big moments in October, playing with guys that you are incredibly close with. And I think the Dodgers, I mean, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts are fantastic human beings that do a great job of building, chemistry. But at the end of the day, Ohtani not being able to throw and things like that, I think, the Braves are going to be really good. The division with the Diamondbacks and the Padres, you don't know what you're going to get out of that. That staff could be good. The Giants are building something. I think that division's going to be incredibly tough for them. And it's October, man. It's the greatest time of the year. March Madness is pretty cool, and we're sitting right in that right now. But there's nothing like October baseball in the world.
And I'm going to add, it's March 21st. The Dodgers definitely didn't pay Yamamoto $300 million to
No.
5-run first inning today.
No, they didn't. That was
crazy to wake up to.
It was.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Coach Logan Fleener. We're all looking forward to seeing what you can produce and put back on the green grass and brown sand of Marsh Field. And hey, we're holding on to those high hopes for a title, and we know you got it in you. And we're excited to be back.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Johnny. Can't wait to see you guys in June.
All right. Again, thank you all Clippers fans for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and keep you posted for more off-season, preseason content. And this is Jonathan Timm signing off one last time from this edition of Muskegon Clipper Baseball.